Hi, I'm Mason Hopkins, and this is the final video in this series on cognitive dissonance in Fun Home. So far, I've discussed what cognitive dissonance is and how it affects understanding. We took a look at how Bechdel's use of the graphic form is itself an example of cognitive dissonance. I explained that the family's house holds contrasting and inconsistent ideas, and we examined literary allusions in the text as a means of creating more dissonance within the self. In this last video, I'd like to talk about self-identity through form and intent. Although Allison attempts to distance herself from her father, she just keeps getting pulled closer to him. She thinks that her coming out will be a sort of farewell letter to her parents. But then she gets told about her father's sexuality and gets wrapped up into her parents' drama. As a little girl, she resents Bruce's renovation of their house and the anguish that it causes her. So she says that her future house is going to be plain and all metal like a submarine. She, because of the apparently familial trait that is extreme cognitive dissonance, doesn't understand that this makes her just like her father. I'm not saying that she doesn't actually want her house to be all metal, unadorned, and purely functional, as she says, but it's just a way to hide her identity, like her father's house hides his. And even though drawing cartoons is Allison's way to rebel against her father's love of classic art, she ends up drawing about her relationship with her father. But none of this changes the fact that when she actually wants to connect with him, he's unwilling. Like this whole time, all they've had is modernist literature and attraction to male fashion models, Allison for the clothing, Bruce for the men, to link the two of them. But now, after Bruce tells her that he would dress up as a girl when he was younger, and Allison jumps at the chance to connect and say that she wanted to be a boy while she was growing up, he just sits there in silence. Their whole relationship is dissonant. It's the similarities that drive them apart, and what makes them different that pushes them together. So, when Allison's intent is to disassociate herself from her family, her identity actually becomes more closely related to them. But what about Bruce? We've seen that his attempts to be the characters from his favorite books are misguided, and we know that his artifice and renovation don't actually allow for enough heterosexual disguise for him, but heterosexuality is the only life he's ever idolized. To not pretend to be heterosexual would mean to not even live. And to deny that Bruce is at least kind of a straight husband and father would be to deny a whole life. And although he's tormented by the life that he can't lead, and his performance as Helen's husband is mediocre at best, his creation of himself stems from so much more. He finds genuine happiness in fixing up his old house. His books provide solace and comfort for him, a passion that he can pass on to Allison. Although it's false, dissonant, and even harmful to imagine Bruce as Gatsby or Stephen Daedalus, that's how he wanted us to remember him. And to do that, we don't have to overlook his affairs with high school boys. He contains multitudes. He's just doing what we're all trying to do. Construct our lives and identities while navigating a sea of dissonances in our brains. Because maybe self-identity is a paradox. Maybe when we analyze everything and it's said and done, all we can do is create ourselves based on other people. Thank you for watching.